It has been coming for a while now, but I can finally declare that Drive Tribe has a V10 car in the garage, and we found a rare one. The car just outside is one of 20 ever made. So without further ado, welcome to the new Drive Tribe project car. So, we've bought ourselves an E61 BMW M5 Touring. Apologies to all the really lovely M6 owners that messaged me buzzing about there being one of them on the channel, but I got such a good deal on this that I simply could not pass it up. It's the rarest of the V10 Beamers. I personally think it's by far the best looking, and there's nothing cooler than a performance estate car. The one of 20 thing is the colour, carbon black. To my eyes, it's navy blue, but that's by the by. Apparently, from factory, there were only 20 V10 estates spec'd in that colour. The spec of this car is up there with the best. Apparently, that Alcantara roof lining is a $2 to $3 grand option, and I've never had this tech on a car before. Soft closing doors, and these are the alloys that you want compared to the ones that have less spokes. But all of that is meaningless compared to the real reason that we've bought this car and why these BMWs are so special. The S85 V10. I've waxed lyrical about this engine on the channel before, so it's crazy to think that we now have the keys to a car with those 10 cylinders under the bonnet. It's a very scary, fragile powertrain, but there isn't a single warning light currently on the dashboard. It could go horribly wrong, in which case Hammond will shout at me lots, but as it stands, we're in the clear. I've managed to get this incredibly rare V10 estate car for a remarkably cheap price, but that is all down to the fact that this specific specimen has a bit of a checkered past. But thankfully, today's video is sponsored by Car Vertical, so we can check out exactly what's happened throughout this car's history. Car Vertical allows you to fully check a car's history before you even think about buying it. It works in over 20 countries and accumulates information from numerous databases to give you the full rundown of the car's life. If it has failed an MOT, was involved in a crash, has outstanding finance, or was even stolen, you'll find out here. Looking at the M5's history, there's definitely a few things to chat about. The major alarm bells come from this damage warning right here, and if you then scroll to the damage section of the report, you can see that it was in October 2018, and then written next to that, you can see the car was written off. It turns out this M5 had a small fire. These cars were all recalled for their battery cabling. Now, this specific car was recalled and was fitted with a new cable, but the BMW specialist that fitted it didn't fit it properly, it shorted against the bodywork, and there was a small fire in this back corner. You can actually still see some soot on the wires there from that fire. When that fire went off, it didn't actually do any structural damage to the car, it just burnt some of the interior bits, but especially this Alcantara roof lining is quite expensive, and insurers calculate all of this based on brand new part prices, and all of this BMW interior stuff is so expensive. So the car wasn't written off structurally, there was no real damage at all, it was just financially written off by all this stuff. Thankfully, the car was bought back from the insurers and has been through a couple of owners since then. So now I'm here to give this car an even better life. I know the previous owner of this car quite well, but don't be risky like me and check on Car Vertical before you lay down any money for a second-hand car. The report has also flagged up a mileage issue. but that is just a common fault with these cars. When the battery goes flat on one of these, the odometer resorts back to its German factory setting, which is in kilometers. So a garage was probably working on the car, the battery went flat and it reset, and then they didn't put the number back to miles, so they just logged the kilometer number as miles and left it as that, hence the big spike in this graph. So nothing to worry about there. Car Vertical is really simple to use. You just create an account and then type in the reg of the car that you want to check out, and then everything you will need to know will be categorized like this to keep it nice and simple. So if you think this service would come in handy as you journey through the second-hand car market, get 10% off by clicking the link in the description below. Right, there's a V10 just up there. Let's use it. What a noise to have under your right foot. And it's weird because I seem to remember the M6 that I tested sounded a bit like a V8 until you got past a certain RPM. But for whatever reason, this S85 makes those 10 cylinders knowing the second you put your foot down. And that's just in the car's normal 400 horsepower mode. Right at your fingertip, you've got that legendary M button that you can click, and immediately you've got the full 500 horsepower, 8,250 RPM. I'm loving this M5 so much that even the gearbox seems okay. I've now settled into the mindset of it being an automated manual, that there is a computer somewhere dipping the clutch and changing gear for me. Once you realize that and really think through what's happening, it all just makes sense and you let the gearbox do its thing. I have learnt that when you're just pulling away and you're in town, you do want to shift the gearbox to its secondary mode, because in its normal startup primary mode, it tries to pull away in second gear, and I've been told that rides the clutch over time and burns it out. So you start up the car, get it into its second gearbox mode, and it will pull away in first gear and you're good to go. So that is the mode for when you're in the city or on a motorway. And then, to be honest, once you're out in the country, all you're going to do is click that M button and you're immediately in the top ferocity mode and you can absolutely fly. What an engine! Since growing up in the V10 era of Formula One, I have always dreamt of owning and running a V10 road car. And now, mainly down to all of you guys watching, that dream has come true. So thank you so much for tuning in over the years. And don't worry, I will not let you guys down. We have got some seriously cool plans for this achingly cool car. There are a couple of things that do bring me back down to earth. The first of which is the steering. It's very, very slow on this car, which seems odd. My old MG ZTT had a quicker steering rack than this. I don't really know why it's this slow. I've caught myself out on a couple of corners once I'm out and about because I'm simply not putting enough steering lock in. It's so slow. So, anyone out there, E60 or E61 owners, have you experienced a similar thing, and is there a quick and easy fix for it? Is there just a quicker rack that you can buy, or is there some bushings you can change? Tell me in the comments below, because it just doesn't seem to quite suit the car. The infotainment is crap, but I guess that's to be expected from a car from 2007. And I have been told that there is an update that you can do to it that basically updates it to the newer system, the one after this one. So that is going to be one of the main goals for the future with this car. One thing that I didn't realize this car had was kind of mechanical seat bolsters. Basically, once you're in M mode and you put on a certain amount of steering lock, the sides of the seat come in and grip you depending on what corner you're going round. So on a left-hander, this side of the seat kind of curls round and keeps you in. Now that sounds like it should be something cool and sporty, but in reality, it feels like you've got a dodgy uncle in the back seat that's kind of feeling up your side. You're kind of a bit like, ooh, that's just a bit odd. And finally, the fuel bill. Those 10 cylinders up there guzzle fuel like nothing I've ever driven on the road, whether it's in 400 or 500 horsepower mode. Even Hammond's old V12 Ferrari 550 that I managed to have a go in was more frugal than this car. But if that is the price I have to pay for this soundtrack, I'm gonna suck it up. Manufacturers do not make cars like this anymore. This era of the performance estate car has very much been and gone. And when you think about it, it was quite a simple but brave brief by BMW to their engineers. They thought, right, we're in Formula One and we would like to mirror a bit of what we're doing on track in our road cars to make our customers feel good. So please go away and build a big V10 engine that's high revving and sounds amazing so that our customers can feel part of our F1 project. There is little to no engineering connection between this V10 and the V10 engine in Juan Pablo Montoya's F1 car, but there is certainly a spiritual connection.
Juan Pablo Montoya, and he goes down into turn one, fully committed into the first corner.
That's already 5 kilometers faster over the start-finish line than anybody else. Such is the power of that BMW engine.
When it comes to V10 estate cars, as far as I'm aware, there have only been 3 ever made. The E61 M5 Touring, and then the Audis, the S6 and RS6 Avant. To me, this stands out from them all. Only 1,025 M5 Tourings were ever made, and only 222 were right-hand drive. And we got it for the same price that M6s are going for these days, so I think we've absolutely nailed it. So, there you have it. Here's the canvas for the rest of 2022 and beyond, but what should we do with it? Because I want you guys to see this car as much yours as it is ours. So comment down below with what we should do. To kick things off, I'm not mad about the colour. It does suit the car, but I think we could do better. So I've got 2 photoshops for potential wraps that could go on the car. Starting with this one, Flag Metallic Blue, otherwise known as Scottish Racing Blue. Looks pretty cool. Or a very popular colour these days, Irish Green. So comment below with whether I'm mad to change this colour or which one we should go for. First things first though, I'm going to get this to a BMW specialist who knows that V10 engine inside out so that he can check over everything that could possibly go wrong to either just check it or sort it out so that I have a really solid S85 under that bonnet. It will also help me sleep at night knowing that those rod bearings won't or shouldn't spin. So, I hope you guys like the new car on the channel. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. I've been Mike, and don't forget to subscribe to Drive Tribe.